So I may have rambled a little bit in my video today, and I'm always worried that I'll do that because it's coming straight out of my head. But my goal was to show that Patrick Henry's daughter is buried here in Memphis, something I've never known until I started doing cemetery visits. But also to remind people that even the great men are human. They all have a full story to tell. Patrick Henry's life goes way beyond give me liberty or give me death. That particular speech goes way beyond that. But very few know what that was actually said, or when it was said, or why it was said. But if you will, listen with an open ear. And as we get closer to the rest of 2024, talk to each other. Listen. Remember that you're human. You're a combination of all the things that you are made of. We've all heard Patrick Henry's famous line, give me liberty or give me death. And it's interesting on this Independence Day, as America finds itself being more torn farther than we have been in quite a while, that at his death, he owned 112 slaves. Now, some sources say that they were being given freedom through a couple of different available means, but at Patrick Henry's death, he still owned something around 112 slaves. It's interesting to think about that. When you read his letters about liberty, you can feel the emotion behind them, and you get the feeling that he truly did believe what he said. And it's not a condemnation. His times are not our times, but it's just something that you learn when you read the letters of people. Another good story about Patrick Henry is on his deathbed. He was being tended to by a good friend of his doctor, who was very close friends. And it is said that the doctor at one point actually went outside of the house and threw himself on the ground in a very upset state. And the reason why he could not understand why Patrick Henry was in the state that he was in his pain, in his throngs of death. The doctor knew that he was in a terrible position and was about to die. But Patrick Henry, it is believed, stood strong in his faith, and even up to that time had tried to convince the doctor, who was not a Christian, of the merits of the faith. And these things all go together because cemeteries remind us that all of our heroes, every person, was a human. They are a complex combination of all their experiences, all their thoughts, all of the things that they believed, and all of the things that they acted on. And I'll leave you on this Independence Day with a mention of a letter. You can find this online, from Patrick Henry to another friend. And they were writing about the ills of slavery, which I said Patrick Henry owned 112 slaves, but he was starting to realize the dual nature of that practice, how it was not compatible with what we were preaching as a new country, or what we remember that was being preached. And when you read that letter, you can feel a certain level of pain in his voice. But the biggest takeaway is he wasn't willing or able to make a change. And again, that goes to his nature of being a human. This is not meant to be a condemnation. I'm not capable of that. But it's something that in our day and age, when all of our political parties are telling us that we must not look at the other as a human, as a mixture of our combinations, it's just something to think about. And that's a little bit of connection between the Founding Fathers and my hometown here in Memphis. Celebrate Independence Day today, and remember, treat each other like a human.